How much committed are we to our country? The only thing we know is to criticize. That's the only thing we know. Criticize, you put this one, you put this one, you put this. Who do you expect to come and be your Messiah?
Good evening, good evening, good evening once again. This is the Deep National Hour program. Deep is the Democracy and Empowerment for Economic Progress. I'm Dr. Ibrahim Dassama the first. I'm the Executive Director of the Democracy and Empowerment for Economic Progress, Deep. As a nationalist, I have my own nationalistic responsibility to ensure that my country works in the best interest of all Liberians. Once again, this is the Deep National Hour program. Deep can be followed up on Facebook, where we have our page. That is the DEEP Facebook page. That is the Deep National Hour Facebook page. Okay, so today we'll be discussing part one of Is Liberia an educated country, quote unquote, a civilized society? We will be looking at it from the context of sociology, where we look at the social composition of our society, the way they conduct themselves, the way they respond to situation, the way they handle things in their various communities, to be able to understand whether we are part of the educated class or societies in the world, or we are somewhere behind when it comes to education. So once again, I'm Dr. Abraham Dassama the first. I will be echoing this platform as we go on. Okay, so let's look at this country, Liberia. Okay, let's look at this country, Liberia. Are we a nation that people can count on? People can say, yes, I respect this country because the citizens of this country are properly educated. Fundamentally, we have a serious challenge when it comes to the way we define our own education as a nation. By this time, we should have a definitive step or position when it comes to our own philosophy of education that will drive our society, taking into consideration our national agenda. It means that every subject and every curriculum of our nation will be crafted according to achieving that national agenda. And that agenda will be taught to every student that have had the opportunity to learn within the corridor of our educational sector. Unfortunately, Liberia is not part of those nations that have identified or established a definitive position in how it wants its citizens to behave or conduct themselves. If I should open the line right now and ask every citizen who have the opportunity to give me the national position when it comes to our national agenda, that will lead to success, that will lead to greatness, that we all have studied, understood, and know as educated people and those in the corridor of education, you will see the only thing people will be talking about is this other party manifesto, the other one, or what one is champion. But the nation have not come to its senses to say that, look, my friend, there should be an agenda, there should be a quest that the country wants to achieve, that no matter whatever administration that comes in will be fighting to achieve such an agenda. But if the country does not have a set focus, we are not planning. We have not planned that this is the direction we want to take. So any person who comes as leader must work within that corridor, must ensure that that which we want must be achieved, and not his or her agenda. You can bring other mechanism to buttress in achieving. Possibly we want to be great, we want to be industrialized, we want to be prosper, we want to make sure that every citizen have access to electricity, those basic necessity of life. So you set those standards that no president, no government, no administration can come in and thwart it. Okay? Then you will notice that there will be no unfinished project. Because if a government is pursuing a role from here, maybe to sign or whatever development agenda in line with the national agenda of the nation, whatever government comes will not be thinking about I cannot fulfill, I cannot complete that particular project because it will bring glory to the past administration. People will not have the time, or the luxury of time to be thinking that way. You know strictly that the people, the society, the constitution will put you to ensure that that project does not end where the past administration ends. So you see, you have a lot of unfinished projects in our society when the country have not taken a position to ensure that, look, we can keep running based on existence. We should be running based on agenda. We should be, you can call a meeting and people just come and just talk when they won't say, they won't say, they won't. There should be a guide. What is it that is guiding our society? So if we don't have to, we have not yet established, a sense, a definitive sense of direction. It means that it question the weight of our education. Okay. As you may be aware, we started education, higher education in Liberia around 1822, talking about the University of Liberia, 1882, around that, talking about the University of Liberia when it was putting it together. And then by couple of years, 1862, okay, 1862 and 1882 and 84, something around that. Okay, but you're talking about more than 100 years ago, and you have Liberia producing the fifth and sixth oldest universities in Africa. The fifth University of Liberia, the sixth Cotton University. These are the two oldest university ranking at 5 and 6. After 100 years of their existence came independence of other countries. So, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, other countries, and they came in. But it is so disgraceful that at this dispensation, when you look at the unit rank, you look at universal record universities, you cannot find Liberia among the top, no university in this country, among the top 400 universities in Africa. You can find one university in Liberia part of that. Okay? How does that portray a nation that have old record? You see, that's the reason why life is not based on age, it's based on achievement. Okay, life is not based on age, it's based on achievement. You can be as old as you think you want to be or you are, but if your life does not reflect achievement that people can respect and honor, you have to call the young person who has that achievement with respect and courtesy. You can neglect that particular aspect. The country Liberia is old. Why are we unable to even standardize our education system? Okay, how do you even develop your curriculum? Who are those involved in it? Does the curriculum reflect the opinion, the view, the expertise, the experiences of those in the educational sector? Okay, how do you really craft up your curriculum? Okay, even at the national level, college level, you have professional groups, engineers association, construction engineer, and the business association guys. And again, do you, I know, call them to be able to discuss with them so that they give you contemporary information, challenges in the field. How can you craft your business administration courses to be able to reflect the day-to-day reality in Liberia? How can you develop your sociological context to fit the day-to-day Liberia? How do what are the researches that are going on? That nurses that are coming up can be learning things about their society based on research that was conducted in their society, so that those who are in this particular area can understand and know about their own country that they come into work in. Okay? How do you do that? Now you have your entire education running after books that emanated from outside your country, but you think that you'll be ranked among other countries that are studying themselves and making contemporary contribution to the educational sector. Now, let me come to another angle in that. The very first thing you should remember is a nation that is unable to identify its problem and solve it is a kid. It's a baby. That's an uncivilized country. Look at civilized nations. They are capable of identifying their problems. They are capable of finding solutions to their problems. We are talking about whether Liberia is an educated society or a civilized society. Now, ask yourself the question. For over 30 years, you have been crying on people bypassing education. People can graduate from high school and cannot even compose, cannot write a simple letter. People are graduating from colleges, they didn't even know composition, report writing, application, and the other things. They don't know it. Now, the question is, if you say and you have seen these things and you lack the ability to take when you have the authority to do so, but the willpower is not there, not only from the angle of the government, but the entire society. It means that the society is a very bad society, and Liberia indeed is a bad society. You have a bad generation, very bad generation, because your inability to correct that which you are to correct proves you to be foolish. Why will you talk about things that you can correct and cannot correct? It doesn't show that you are a civilized person. It doesn't show that you're a wise person. It's an open thing today in the Liberian society that people are living from third grade to fifth grade with all document, from fifth grade to seventh grade with all document, from seventh grade to ninth grade with all document, from ninth grade to 11th grade, and sometimes 12th grade with all document, and they may not even attend classes regularly, but they may graduate from high school and get credential they cannot defend. It's thing that is known in the Liberian society. It is known that people can sit in offices and get degree even from colleges, all the classes, and do all kinds of things that they coming out of them. Out of colleges, earning bachelor degree, they get even their own graduation speech. They are unable to compose it, neither to talk about, to read it out. Okay, we are cognizant of these things, but what makes you to question whether you are an educated or civilized society is, what are you doing to correct the situation? More than 30 years, you are talking about the same thing and can't do anything to solve it. Does that? One of the fundamental purposes of education is to bring about transformation. If you are in the corridor of education and cannot correct things that are easily done, then it means that the Liberian society is schooling than educating. It's a unique difference between schooling and educating. When somebody gets school, it means they pass through the various standards, nursery, junior high, lower elementaries, upper elementary, junior high, senior high. Those are all school basic requirements that you must meet them. That's schooling. Education is acquiring knowledge from that schooling processes, from the processes that the school set up, and be able to adequately apply them to not only transform your life, but the life of your family, the community, and the society at large, and be able to contribute to the global society. Meaning that everybody is under obligation to make life comfortable, not only for themselves or himself or herself, but the community in which he or she lives, the society at large, and across. That's the reason why you sit in your home. People from outside are making contributions that you are benefiting for today, because the society requires us from a sociological context that we must share. We should share in culture, we should share in our traditions, we should share in our practices, we should share in our technology, we should share in our education, meaning that you cannot keep things in secret. Only you know. So, where is the impact or the result, the benefits from being called an educated person in society? And you see, African politicians, let me come to our own environment, Liberia. The politicians feel comfortable when people are poorly educated, poorly prepared, poorly able to think properly, and they put in a culture of talking in their minds. So at the end of the day, they only give them issues to talk. While they are talking, these politicians are enriching themselves. Since the people love talking, it's just like you are eating food with a child, and since the child wants love to eat the bone, you take a meal with the bone and give it to the child. While the child focusing on, fighting on that bone to eat, all the food in the pan, you eat them out. That's how the African politicians behave. So while people are talking this one, talking that one, and defending this position and defending that position, and forgetting about the national good because they are not being trained on those things, then the politicians are exploiting them on mass scale. Before we have corruption. But I think where we are now is more than corruption, is mass looting. We get looters now. Those are looters. According to the Liberian Constitution, we are under obligation, the government under obligation to properly educate every citizen. Not to create free school that is free of knowledge, but to create a system that will be able to benefit the entire society. Okay? You should be able to create. Look, I'm going to tell you this. It's the government responsibility to determine how its citizens should think, should behave, should conduct themselves. It is the responsibility of the government. Every country around the world, every successful country, the government defines what is being taught in the classroom to its citizens. Who are those involved in the teaching process to make sure that you're able to grow a society of potentialities so that they can be able to develop themselves greatly and get rid of limitation that brings about poverty and backbiting and other things and be more focused. It is the government prerogative to ensure that that country, the content of what the citizens absorb, are all in the interest of achieving the national agenda. But in the context of Liberia, is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Where do we want to go as a nation? Why can we sit down and discuss so that we can be able to determine our course of actions? Because when we determine where we want to go, how to go there, then we start putting all those activities that will lead us to that place. And we'll keep working and improving on them until we become a superpower. Not in the context of competition, but in the context that you can have poverty walking in your streets and visiting people at home. Up to current, after 170 plus years, we've been crying on electricity, we can solve it. We've been crying on lack of water, we can solve that problem. Poor health and services, we can solve that problem. Bad leadership, we can solve that problem. This is not your inability to solve things that you have the ability to solve. It is not a sign of being a civilized society. It's good to read. It's good to go after these things. It's good to understand them. It's good to know that until that which other countries have practiced that have brought them up there, that you can look at them and admire them until you go after those practices. It is not wrong for you to be ranked among the 20 most illiterate countries in the world at rank 11. It is not. You know, most often when I provide these statistics, sources, and other things, and I know, I feel that it could spark off some intellectual discourses to see how we can resolve these matters. But the society is not interested. Society is easily being moved by politicians. The things that will just only get them pacified, the things that will only get them excited, the things that will only get their brain moving and just talking and leave their stomach empties, their body empties, those are things they take more pleasure in. More pleasure. You want to get rich, get into politics. You get money so fast. You want your justice to be there, not go to court. You want to see some crazy attitude, just go to the police station, government ministries. If you don't want to learn, go to school. Go to school. You won't learn, you will not learn. So everything is like upside down. Why should people go to school and can learn? But they can acquire credentials. Why should it be that way? Why? Okay? Are we saying that we know all these things and are unable to determine how to solve them? Is that what we are saying? It means that the country is illiterate. Because one of the evidences of an informed society is the product that comes out of that society. The product. I'm Dr. Sellu. If I say I have acquired certain amount of education, but live in limitation, in poverty, cannot overcome the physical challenges of life, then I myself, as a doctoral holder, will question myself. Obviously, because at the level of a bachelor, you should be able to face life sociologically, psychologically, financially, and be able to overcome certain components. At the mastery level, you should have able to give people not only to overcome these challenges in the society, but to also provide guidance for people who may want to face these challenges or want to become successful. So you see, a lot of the master degree holders are writers and other things because you have passed that level of facing challenges and can find remedy to them. Not to even speak about those at the doctoral level. It means that besides facing life challenges, overcoming them, having experiences, you have created new ideas, new philosophy, new theories that people can use that can benefit them for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. But if you have all the levels of individuals in your society and you are ranked among the 5 poorest, it means that it justifies why you are not among the educated society in the world. Because education is an antidote to poverty. Meaning that if you have education, you should not have poverty. Okay? You can't have light and the place is dark. I don't know where it's better for or something else. But you can't say you have education, but you are in poverty. Then we question that level of education you have. No matter how constrained the society, no matter how the economy will be, those from the masteral level and upward should be able to find a remedy, should find a way out of it because they have passed that bachelor level. But is that happening in our society today? No. Today, in Liberia, people who are not educated, you can see some of them successful, a lot of them poor. People who are educated, you see some of them successful, a lot of them poor. Then what's the difference between those who are educated and those who are not? Because the life outputs are relatively the same. So people don't even give credence to education in the society. You can say you can go to school, man. Why can I can pay you? Say who go to school because there is no line of demarcation. Most of the businesses in this country are owned by people who have not even gotten a college degree. Who can even bring it down that men have even gotten high school credentials. But because they live in society of exposure, they learn. And in our Liberian society, we live in a society of big show, empty talk, for nothing bluff. So somebody who should use a market to transform his or her life, to become an employer and other things, then will be afraid or ashamed to do that business simply because of the kind of environment he or she came from. Again, I'm Dr. Ibrahim Dassama, the first nationalist, the executive director of the Democracy Empowerment for Economic Progress, DEEP. You can follow us up on our page. That is the DEEP National. Our Facebook page will be happy if you can just share as many times as possible, and also just tap the like button or subscribe, and with this movement. And let us share it out and be part of this particular movement and see how we can help our country. Okay? That's the best I think you can do for now. Okay? That's the best. You can have a society that cannot define itself. Right now, those who are getting both sociological and financial power in this country are non-Liberians. To the extent of their financial and sociological power, they can look at citizens in their faces and tell them that your government is in our pocket. And it is evidence. It is. Because the society is not a civilized society. Because if the country can define itself, you will train your citizens to love each other. You will train your citizens to work together. You will train your citizens how to see government in the country. You will train your citizens what to go after. But Liberians don't love each other in this country. It's clear. I was interacting with somebody and the president said something that I said, oh, in your country, you love each other. I laugh. The people are not being trained. The Bible says, train out a child in the way he or she should go, and when that person gets old, he will not depart from it. How do you expect your citizen to behave well when you are not training them in your curriculum how to behave? We need a national dialogue. We need to sit and discuss. Where do we want to carry this country in the next 50 or 100 years? And how can we get this message to every citizen? How can we redesign our curriculum so that people who are going through our education can have the mindset of this country? But people don't have the mindset of this country. People, you are training your people, your citizens, how to sacrifice system. That's how you train them. The man does not go through the proper war of education, he gets degree. You expect that man to enter office and go through system? They did not come into office through foreign system. So everything that he knows or she knows is to sacrifice things. So if you have laws, he will sacrifice things. He will use the law as at his disposal to enrich himself. Because he's not used to living by system or living by laws. No. No matter how many times you cry and condemn your government, as long as their training is to sacrifice, they will always sacrifice. As long as their training is to corrupt from the grassroots, they will be corrupt. As long as they don't have the basics in your educational sector, they will never ever produce what civilized nations can produce. They will never. If you travel to successful countries, you see the content of what the citizens learn, you will understand that their lessons are all nationalistic. And not only nationalistic, but it has a strong developmental agenda. Inspiring them from 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Like what were practiced in Anthem, the Spartan. They were trained to live and fight and die for the nation. Are you training your citizens for that in that mind? No. Nobody cares. If you ask me, Liberian to say, you want to sell a country and divide together money and divide money. Nobody cares. Liberian can move Liberian from houses and put non-Liberian in it because of 5 or 10 hour difference. Who's saying all the front views to non-Liberians? Are the same Liberians? Nobody cares. Everybody thinking about themselves, nobody thinking about the country. They are behaving that way because there is nobody, there's not a program designed to teach them how to think. Then you want them to elect good leaders. The people are not taught how to do the right things. So they will not do the right thing out of some kind of mysterious act. No, it's not possible. What they don't have, they won't give. What they don't have, they won't give. Until you define what your citizen, and this goes directly to government, until you define what your citizens should know, should learn, how they should conduct themselves, and place it in that mechanism that will help them learn it and know it and live it, this country is going nowhere. After all these 100 something plus years, you come and celebrate another independence of non-achievement. When we say non-achievement, it means that you're not making 1 or 2 strides and going up. We're talking about the world goal according to expectation. If the world expects that in a year time, as a nation, you should be able to get more $5 to $10 billion increment in your revenue, and you are around, 700 million and 800 million in high quality, you are a failure. Yes, you made a growth, but your growth is not up to maybe 10 to 15% as will be required from an entity. Because normally an entity will expect you to get 15 to 20% increment yearly. It means that if you start on $1 million, it means in a year time, you should be somewhere around maybe $1.5 million, something like that. If possible, you can even go to 1.5 million or up to 2 million. That's the kind of things they expect. So if your country started on something around 700 million, it means that after 1 year you should be around maybe around $1.4 billion. It means that you are in the cycle of achievements, but not 1%, 2%, 3%, no kind of nonsense. Then you think that you are making strides. You're not making strides according to expectation. No. So when it tells you your country is uncivilized, it means that every citizen by unit is uncivilized. It means that in domination, in the higher number, in performance, you are uncivilized, poorly educated society. We will talk about these things. It left for the Liberian society to define the course of action and decide. Do you want to keep going? And you think that you are an educated society, keep going. We're all calling a space and defining what you want to do. Why will you start joining with all the time where you want to go? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to go to school or defining what you want to do? Well, we can just handle everything just in a day's time. We will keep playing our nationalistic role, and by the grace of God, we know that these things will not always fall on their soil. So, again, I'm Dr. Abraham Dassama the first, a nationalist, the executive director of the Democracy Empowerment for Economic Progress. I have been on your platform for a couple of years, playing my part. I know under some stress and whatever thing government can do one or two things, but not up to again an achievement level. So it is you, the citizens. As long as you build a culture of listening and talking and doing nothing, achievement will never be at your door. 1%, 2%, 3% achievement in your life is not what is remarkable in our global society. So I will be on your platform again on Fridays by 5 p.m. I will ask that you encourage someone to tune in on the same platform, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Okay, to play our role, and we expect you to again. So you can go on our page, that is the Deep National Hour Facebook page, that is DEEP National Hour Facebook page. I want to say thank you to Dr. Howard Jones. Okay, that is Dr. Howard Jones. I want to say thank you for firing up, and Emin Hammer also want to say thank you for firing. And all of you who are following us on our page, we say God bless you. And until we meet again, I'm Dr. Abraham Dassama the first. We will open the line to okay. Because of time, we'll meet again on our next platform. God bless you until we meet again. I'm Dr. Abraham Dassama the first.